Hello, everyone, and welcome to the preview show delivered by FedEx. I'm your host, Jonathan Merryman, joined by Chris Rice of College Racing. Chris, a fantastic weekend in Dover. We had a doubleheader on Sunday, but let's talk about Martin Truex Jr. He wins 3 out of the last 5 races. No surprise to anyone.
No, not at all, but let's give credit to the team. I mean, that's a team out of Denver, Colorado, everyone. I mean, we've seen it. They're getting ready to start 2 teams. They're showing that they can contend for this championship in the chase, and they're fast everywhere they go. That's what's impressive to me.
All right, no surprise that he won that race, but are you surprised that the first 4 eliminated with Tony Stewart, Kyle Larson, Chris Buescher, and Jamie McMurray now on the outside of the chase?
Not really. The only one that does surprise me is Jamie McMurray. They can't seem to get over the hump at Ganassi Racing for some odd reason, but that's the only one that does surprise me a little bit. The other 3, they really hadn't had speed throughout those racetracks, so I'm not surprised at those 3. Just Jamie McMurray a little bit, not a lot.
All right, let's talk about Austin Dillon a little bit. He was on the outside looking in to that round of 12 cutoff at Dover. He comes out and gets an 8th place finish on a car that they didn't even test or know anything about before they brought to Dover. How impressive was RCR's run in the 3 car?
Well, let's look at it. They were really, really fast throughout that whole race. They kind of took their time at the end of the race because they knew where they were in points, but that was impressive to bring a brand new race car to Dover and just run as well as they did. But I'm telling you, Austin Dillon is showing a lot of potential to be able to go out and contend to move to the next round.
All right, we head to Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Bank of America 500, a racetrack where Martin Truex Jr. led 588 miles out of the 600
That's
miles
a lot.
in the Coke 600. Is he going to be the favorite this weekend? And do guys have to worry about keeping him from victory lane, or are they just going to have to worry about getting their best finish?
Someone needs to beat him, because if they don't beat him and let him get into the next round, they better look out. But yes, he'll be the favorite this weekend, but I also look at a bunch of different guys like Kevin Harvick, Jimmy Johnson. They found some speed at late, so I like those guys to be able to contend with them throughout the whole 500 miles.
Now, is this going to be a racetrack where we see a potential chase spoiler? That's a guy that's not currently in that round of 12 when they're kind of like we saw Jamie McMurray do in 2010, and Brad Keselowski also did that in 2013. What kind of a factor are those guys going to play in this race?
Kyle Larson, let's think about Kyle Larson. Charlotte Motor Speedway is absolutely one of his favorite racetracks and one of his best racetracks. We see it time and time again. He gets at the top of the wall and makes a lot of speed, so Kyle Larson could be your spoiler there. Yes, absolutely.
Now, a lot of people talk about Kevin Harvick's bad luck in that first round of the chase. Now, he won in New England at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, but he had a 20th place finish at Chicago, and he finished 37th at Dover. What's that team going to have to do to kind of reverse that fortune and kind of clear their minds and go forward here?
Just win. They show that they can win. They show they have speed everywhere they go. So if they win, they move on to the next round. So it's not a big deal. Yes, they need to have better races when they do not win, but I'm telling you, if they win, and they can win at Charlotte Motor Speedway, it's no problem. They move on to the next round, and it's easy for them.
But what if they don't get that win? How much trouble are they in?
They definitely have to be consistent. So they're in trouble, but not as much as you think.
All right, Chris, now it's time to make our picks for NASCAR Fantasy Live.
Hold on.
You were right last week, but
2 weeks
Marty
in a row.
Snyder was here, not me. So now
Okay.
you have to go up against me. So who are you taking this week for the Bank of America 500 at Charlotte Motor Speedway?
I'm going to surprise you a little bit. I'm not taking Martin Truex, and I'm not taking someone from a JGR camp. I'm taking Jimmy Johnson in the 48 car. I really like their chances at Charlotte Motor Speedway, so Jimmy Johnson's my pick this weekend. They found some speed. I'm excited to watch him probably take the checkered this weekend.
I'm going to go outside of the box here. I don't think a chase driver wins this week. I think Kyle Larson wins this week. Now, we see how fast he was there in May this year, so I do think the 42 is going to win and put the pressure on those guys that are in the round of 12. But that's going to do it for the preview show delivered by FedEx. For Chris Rice, I'm Jonathan Merryman. Make sure you log on to NASCAR.com all weekend long. You're not going to want to miss a minute of the action from Charlotte Motor Speedway.